Uber and Lyft back at it again. We told y'all, man, we done reports on these airports for how long now? We've been talking about these airports almost a year, talking about the queues, and we really dug into it earlier this year on this channel. And I can't wait till More Perfect Union grabs this, because somebody's got to talk to them about the airport queues and how Uber and Lyft knows what's going on with these airport queues, but they're not saying nothing about it. They're not taking any responsibility for what they know their technology is being used and how people are going through these rides, through these apps, and stealing rides from other drivers. Let you watch this video right here.
Hacking your ride. The warning Orlando police are sending out about hackers targeting rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft.
Kind of scary. They give us a picture and license plate number for our driver, and if that's not the same, what do we do?
Good question there. Orlando police say hackers got into the Uber and Lyft network at Orlando International Airport. Good evening. I'm George Estevez.
I'm Vanessa Eccles. Police say the hackers stole rides from legitimate rideshare drivers. Channel 9's Ashley Edlin explains how those drivers were able to hack the ride-sharing apps.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair.
Tonight, Uber and Lyft drivers who depend on steady traffic at the Orlando airport to pay their bills aren't happy.
It's sad, people trying to take advantage of you.
Orlando police say they got word from people they're not naming that hackers were stealing customers from drivers. They wouldn't say how exactly they were able to do that, but did say they used cell phones. And 9 of those phones were found in bushes in the Uber and Lyft parking lot. This driver, who didn't want us to show his face, says he was in the lot when investigators were looking into what was going on.
This morning, I was on the lot, and I saw a lot of cops around in the parking lot for Uber and Lyft drivers.
OPD says Customs and Border Patrol and ICE went to the lot, but they're telling us this is not an immigration case. People who rely on ride-sharing apps to get around Central Florida say what happened isn't cool.
These guys are just trying to make a couple bucks, whether it's part-time or full-time. It's a little messed up.
Now, Ashley reached out to both Lyft and Uber. They say they have no reason to believe this hacking actually happened, but they said they are ready to help the airport and law enforcement.
I mean, at this point, you can't say customs is showing up, immigration is showing up, but it's not immigrants. I mean, ICE don't come for Americans, do they? I don't think so, because they don't have jurisdiction over it. So why is ICE showing up? Because they know these Venezuelans and these Somalians. Like I said, we said it on this channel before. We dropped content showing videos from other drivers out there recording Somalians, recording Venezuelans, sitting in parking lots, lawn chairs, days in a row. What are you doing? Phones all over the place. Now they finding phones in the bushes. And Uber and Lyft is like, well, there's no evidence that they're hacking. What are phones doing in the bushes? Expensive phones with your technology on them sitting in the bushes. Just coincidence. Not like Candy Crushes on these and nothing like that. I mean, this is Uber apps, Lyft apps. And they're hacking into the servers of Uber and Lyft at this airport. And we know all these airports have the same issue because we've seen it. We've called it out. We've got drivers sitting in the airport for an hour watching the same SUVs go in and out, the same cars going in and out. But yet nobody's getting rides except this group of people. But yet the servers, they have no proof that the servers aren't being hacked. Then how are these people going into your server or getting information out of your server that's only going to their phones and nobody else's phones? Explain that, Uber and Lyft. They know what's going on. They just don't want to take responsibility for their own technology. They don't want to take responsibility for their servers. They know the Sherman Antitrust Act, keeping competition from free market and them allowing it. Just like that whole $40 million ordeal up in New York with those phones, keeping competition. I think all of those drivers that got affected from that up in New York, all of those drivers have a case. Because if Uber knew that this was going on for years and years, they're not stupid. They see a certain bank of drivers always making a ton of money and everybody else is not. I mean, it's not an anomaly to you. You sit and watch these same drivers making all this money, but you're not really paying nobody. They're getting the same bangers after banger after banger after banger. But other people are sitting there, I've been online for, 60 hours. I only got like maybe 10 hours worth of work. But these guys, they're online for, 12 hours with 12 hours worth of work. It don't make no sense. They know something's going on, common sense. I mean, these engineers aren't idiots. They just want to pretend to be idiots when it comes down to taking accountability for a crime they know happening using their technology. So I'm sitting there thinking about, why don't we do this at every airport? Get More Perfect Union involved because they did a great job. Their last video, millions of views. They're taking everything we've been saying on this channel, everything we've been saying on a lot of different channels, all the small channels. We can't speak loud enough, but we get somebody like More Perfect Union to step up to the plate. Hey, they knocking it out of the park. They gonna knock it out of the park. They need to get on this airport thing. Why are our airport queues all jammed up with cars all the time? Just phones. It's not even cars there. It's just phones. You cruise through 64 cars, but yet you're like, dude, there's like maybe 15 cars here, 20. It's phones. They're using spoofing their location. They're sitting at home or sitting somewhere in a restaurant or sitting somewhere, but they're making themselves seem like their car's at the airport so they can get the surge. We've all proved it already. And of course, we got the haters. We got the app employees always coming on this channel. You guys can't prove it. You're just saying that. That's pure speculation. This ain't going to hold up in court. Ain't got to. Just like them people who thought they was going to get away with that $40 million worth of heist from Uber and Lyft rides. I mean, maybe you should go be their attorney in court. You can't prove that they stole it from y'all. Y'all got to sit there and ask them questions and ask them where they... We already said there's a lot of scammers on these apps using this technology to get rides from good drivers. We used to be great drivers. Now we're fighters now. We warriors now. We ain't drivers no more. We warriors now. We independent contractors. We used to drive on these apps. I got tons of videos showing making good money, $1,500 a weekend. Working 8-hour days, making about $400 in 8 hours. I got great videos on this channel from that. 8 hours now, I might pull about 130. Ain't no 400, might pull about 130. All these pigeon rides out there, saturated markets, no surge, shit like that. So we see the market changing. We see the industry changing. We're calling out the scammers. We're calling out the theft from the apps. We fighting the apps on one end. We fighting the scammers on the other end. Then we got the pigeon drivers saying it's not really what y'all say. Then we got the app employees bouncing all over YouTube on everybody's channels, trying to start shit like, no, gaslighting people. It's not really like that. You guys have no proof they're stealing your tips. You're an app employee, probably selling our tips as you posting right now. You probably watching somebody get a $20 tip and you taking $9 of it right now. Oh, great $11 tip. So we already know what's going on. A lot of gaslighting going on. We got a news right here, a news story right here, saying what they're doing at the airport down in Orlando. Phones in the bushes. People complaining about, oh man, they're stealing rides from everybody. They're using these phones. They're hacking the systems and shit. We know this is going on at more airports. We've got to get a channel like More Perfect Union to jump on stories like this. We've got stories like this already on this channel, and everybody doubts it. Now that it's hitting the mainstream media, let's see what Uber says. Let's see what Lyft says. How are they hacking your safe and secure systems, your servers? People's information in there, phone numbers in there, bank account information in there, credit card information in there, addresses in there. Now you just letting people hack your shit just to get rides, just so you can say, well, we're making profit off these rides, because you know the immigrants, they gonna do it. They hack the ride, they're not converting that, they gonna do the ride because they could just keep doing it all day. They running it, man. They got surge from somewhere, they using on rides, they getting banger ride after ride after ride, leaving pigeon rides for everybody else. They just constantly going in and out the lot. Everybody's just sitting in a lot like, man, how are these guys getting all the rides? Uber and Lyft ain't stupid. They just pretending to be. Just like them engineers pretending to be. Well, we have no evidence. I mean, these are the same people who said Lyft went up 500 base points when it went up 50. We got idiots that we're dealing with. People who are completely stupid, who don't even recognize anomalies and say, damn, man, that's a big spike. 500 base points. That's a huge spike. It should only be like this. 500 is way up there. You didn't notice that? You don't notice all these drivers, the same ones, $40 million worth of rides, more than 40 million, because Uber also pocketed money because people paid for those rides. Those guys made 40 million on it. Therefore, Uber made at least 60 to 80 million on it. So how are you going to say you didn't know what was going on? When Uber benefits from a crime, what have we seen them do with Grayball? When they benefits from a crime, they got a driver's back. Oh, we'll get your car to impound. Just keep doing the crime for us. Oh, we'll make sure the cops don't know where you are. We'll just ghost the cars out so they don't know where you are. When you're doing crimes for Uber, they got your back. They will set an algorithm. These engineers will have your back for every time you do a crime. When you stand up and try to fight for yourself, now they want to be against you. That's why they asked us trying to reactivate all of these old accounts, because they tired of us standing up right now. They're going to bring in drivers who ain't drove in a while, who they don't think is watching all these channels, who they don't think is strong enough to stand up for themselves. Let's bring some pigeons back into the coop. All these drivers is like, Jeff, we've been watching your content, man. We ain't been driving for years. But I'm gonna send you what they sending me. This is what they telling me, man, that they reactivated my account. They think I'm stupid. I'm gonna come back on and convert all that shit to cash rides. They don't want to mess with me. Uber and Lyft has no idea. They created all monsters out here. We ain't drivers no more. We warriors now. We monsters now. We out here getting this money now. So all these drivers out here who are doing all these pigeon ass rides, you need to learn to stand up, because you're going to be the first one that Uber's going to get rid of when it's time for them to pay good drivers. Drivers that got nice running cars, not bumpers and shit falling off, not minivans where one door don't open and the other one stuck halfway open. Motherfuckers got to slide in sideways and shit to get in. You're going to be the first one they get rid of. If y'all ain't out there getting y'all money the right way, trust me, we ain't going to see too much of y'all. They claiming everybody's hacking servers now. Next, they're going to be, oh, man, where they just got rid of all these drivers somehow. They hacked into our server and got rid of all the drivers with raggedy-ass cars. Yeah, like y'all going to believe that.